Hi everyone, welcome to Centre Stage Podcast. We have Janiece Myers with us. Hello Janiece.
Hi Shay.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, love. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So my first question to you is, where are you from and how does that affect your work?
So I'm from Liverpool, and that affects my work because Liverpool is quite a musical city in itself. It's quite heavily based around the indie music scene. So I think understanding the music industry from the indie perspective has kind of encouraged me to go along an independent route.
That's really, really nice. Who are your biggest artist influences?
I love R&B. I love Destiny's Child. Love Beyonce. I love Janae Aiko. She's a favourite of mine. She's fantastic.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, and Motown as well. I'm very heavily inspired by Motown music, and also club music, UK music, drill, and little bits of drill more in the current day. But like garage, grime. Bassline was a heavy influence of mine as well.
Where do you find your inspiration from, Janiece?
So I draw inspiration from heartache. I tend to write a lot of love songs, but also just life and just life.
Your experience of what you feel in the moment and time. That's the best thing ever. Do you know? I like that. I appreciate life experiences and what you feel. Where do you find your inspiration from?
It depends. It comes from all over, really. It comes from lots of different sources. I think a lot of like relationship issues, also like looking at other people's lives and situations and things that people go through and kind of creating stories.
When is your favourite time of the day to create music?
So usually it'll be like in the middle of the night when I'm really, really tired, because I find that when I'm tired I can really focus. It sounds a bit weird, but it just depends. Sometimes inspiration can come to me like in the middle of the day or in the morning times. It really depends, but if I had to say, I'd say in the middle of the night.
Describe how music is important to society.
It's embedded in like everything that we do, isn't it? So it is really important, and I think the energy that certain types of music emits can
agree.
affect.
It's a language. We're speaking a language without actually having a language, which is amazing.
Yeah.
What motivates you to create?
It's just something that's within me. I've always made songs since I was small. So I think that's just a natural thing that kind of occurs in my kind of like process and my experience.
You happy dad?
yeah, literally. It's just natural.
No. How do you define success as an artist?
I think success as an artist, I mean, success can be defined in so many different ways. I think, financially is a really, prominent one that we look at. But also, just touching people and connecting with people is the most important thing. Like if you make a song and somebody resonates with that, or, it empowers somebody or it helps somebody to navigate their emotions, I think that's success in my eyes.
Agreed. That's beautifully said, honestly. Does music help you in other areas of your life?
Yes, definitely. Especially other people's music, just being inspired by music, and certain songs can just really bring you out of yourself when you're in like a mood or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what you're missing or what you're feeling until you hear this song. It's like therapy. People go to therapy not knowing what they're experiencing. They start talking. It's like, oh, this is why I feel like this.
Exactly.
So, how do you develop your artistic skills?
I just keep practicing. You can't stop practicing.
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
Practice.
And freestyle as well, like just off the top.
I love a freestyle. I honestly do. Describe how we can encourage your growth.
At Centre Stage?
Yes.
Well, I think the platform itself is amazing. Just giving people the opportunity to perform is fantastic. And yeah, just the support that Centre Stage as a platform offers, I think, across the board. Like even just people, who want to make music videos or do freestyles, or even this podcast is a great way to support artists.
Agreed. Thank you very much. What is your creative process when making music?
It depends. Sometimes it will be lyrics first, sometimes it will be beat first, sometimes it'll be a concept and I'll think of an idea and I want to just run with that, so I'll just do whatever comes with it could be a lyric, it could be, like for example, one of my songs, Human Nature, I just had the idea to do a song about human nature, and then I created the song around that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me about your top performances.
Top performances. There's been a lot, like, over the years. I think I've performed to, like, big audiences, and I think that's always really powerful. But then sometimes the more intimate gigs, like Centre Stage, where it's just kind of like a smaller, intimate, supportive crowd that you can really connect with. I couldn't say one in particular right now.
Yeah, in the moment it's hard to even remember. I don't remember what I've done on stage as well.
Yeah.
Who would you most like to collaborate with artistically?
I would love to collaborate with Bruno Mars. I've always said it, and then more recently he's done that collaboration with Anderson .Paak and created Silk Sonic, and that is just a vibe to me. Like, I love that whole thing.
Yeah, no, Bruno Mars is actually underrated. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, he's fab.
And people forgot about him. I love him, honestly. Yeah. Who has been your most influential teacher or mentor?
Teacher or mentor, probably, there's been quite a few. From where I'm from in Liverpool, there's like a big there was a big community art scene. It's kind of reviving now. I think the funding cuts and things like that stopped a lot of it happening, but there's an organisation called Positive Impact back in Liverpool that were really influential and inspirational to me growing up as an artist, just enabling me to hone my craft. Yeah, and there's been a couple of others. My partner at the moment, Albert, he's very supportive, and he's a great mentor just in terms of like strategy and looking at things from a business perspective.
I think it's very important to have the right people around you as well. Yeah. So I'm very, very happy for you. Have you ever taught or mentored another artist?
I have, yeah. So when I first started making music, or putting music out there, I was again part of Positive Impact, and it was a training academy. So we did a peer mentoring scheme. So when I was about 16, 17, I would teach some of the younger children. And I also, in my spare time now, I act as a teacher, like a music mentor. So I've taught music production, songwriting and performance. I love that.
That is really, really nice, because we need right people for the youth as well. We need good examples. So that's really nice to hear, honestly. Yeah. What was your worst performance and why? I love that question.
My worst performance has probably been like when I've been sick or something. I remember a time when I was really sick and I was trying to sing it. Like trying to sing through the congestion. That's probably been the worst, because it's like the show must go on type thing.
Do you know what? I'm so happy that it was just that, and the sick did not come out in front of the audiences. No, but well done. The show must go on, and you've done well.
Yeah.
How do you deal with disinterested or unruly audiences?
You just keep singing. That's what I was taught. You just keep singing. I mean, I've performed in lots of different types of environments. I remember Beer Keller was like a big one. I don't know if you've heard of Beer Keller, but it's like a place where people just go to get drunk. So when you're trying to sing to that audience, it's just a bit hard, because everyone's on the tables drinking out of kegs and stuff like that. You just have to keep it going. I was always taught about the horizon. So when you're performing, you perform to the crowd, but you look above their heads. Sometimes I just close my eyes and get lost in the music. I'm not really the type of person to be like demanding, listen to me on the stage. So
give me some respect.
Yeah, that's not really my style.
Do you prefer to work alone or collaborate?
I prefer to. I always like to write my own lyrics. It kind of bugs me when people try and give me lyrics to sing. I'm like, I write my own stuff. And that happens more often than not. I don't know if that's got something to do with being a girl or what, but people kind of always like to write for me. But I love collaborating, especially with producers, with other artists. I think collaboration is really important. I love to like feed into somebody else's creativity and then feed into mine.
Yeah.
I think that inspiration is really cool.
What inspires you as an artist, or in general?
Life. And I think music itself inspires me. So if I hear a beat, it might inspire me to create, or like different genres. You know, it could be like a snare, it could be anything. When it comes to music, as an artist all around, I think life can just inspire you in different ways.
How talking about inspiration, creativity, and that stuff, how do you nurture your own creativity?
I like to dance. Dance, I think, is really key, especially as an
Yeah.
artist. That's like the most primitive form of expression without like using your voice even, you know. And I think they're two things that are kind of, they come from the soul, music
Yeah.
and dance. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Agreed. Do you have trouble with perform? Do you have like performance anxiety?
No. Just before I go on stage, I get nerves and I get butterflies and things like that. But you just use it when you get on the stage and kind of channel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your favourite genres, and are there any ones that you dislike?
So my favourite genres, as I say, R&B is kind of like, it's that soul, isn't it? So that's my favourite, I think, by default. But as I say, I love UK genres of music. I love the transition in UK music because it started with like, you know, back in the day with reggae, then dub, then jungle, then garage, then grime, and then transitioned. And we had bassline up in the north of the country, and now down south you've got drill, and drill's so popular all over. And also the conversation between like the US and the UK in terms of like the music, a lot of music that comes from Chicago, New York, and obviously LA is like a big creation capital.
Yeah.
But it's always like a real dialogue of like, you know, that raw kind of electric urban music, which I love. And in terms of genres that I dislike, I used to really dislike metal until there was a group of friends of mine, actually, the Asteroid Boys, shout out the Asteroid Boys. They were going to do a tour in Germany, and they were doing a metal festival. They did like grime punk back in the day, a couple of years ago, and I went along with them, and I fell in love with metal, and I learned the difference between metal and punk and hardcore, and I actually learned to appreciate the genre as like a 4-piece band. And then after that I went to see Korn and Limp Bizkit, and I was like, okay, I started kind of getting into it. So yeah, I would never discredit a genre and as a whole and be like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But there are certain sounds that I'm a bit like,
Yeah, it makes sense. Do you know, but sometimes we don't know what we like or dislike until we actually experience it or see it, and you've done that, so that's really, really good. What makes you different than other artists? What makes you stick out?
I like to think that just being authentically myself, and not trying to be something that I'm not, would make, you know, me and any other artist different. I think that's the most important thing. Just be yourself. I always like to be vulnerable in my music as well, and even like with my visuals, I don't mind doing things that are a little bit abstract, just to kind of express myself in the most authentic way, rather than just like copy and paste. Or
I think that's the most. That's how people also like you, because we've been there, seen that. We know that style, so we want something new.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen your music, and it is very authentic, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. How do you think your friends or your partner would describe you?
I think my friends would say that I was very caring. Like, I think they know if there's something that they need, or, you know, they needed a friend or someone that they can rely on, they can come to me, and I will always be there to support them.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know though, you'd ask them.
Friends? What do you think? What is the best advice you've been given?
Best advice that I've been given is probably the best and the worst, actually. My mum always used to say to me, there's no such thing as can't. Which is not true, because there's certain things that you can't do. But I think as a child, just opening my mind up, you know, if I'd be like, I can't do this, I can't do that, she would always tell me there's no such thing, you can do whatever, you know. And I think just enabling yourself to think outside of the box is really important, and not limit yourself.
Very true. Because you won't know what you can and can't do until you try it.
That's it.
And then after we try, then we can say, then it's like, oh, I can't do it, or I can do it. If you could change anything about the industry, what would it be?
Everything.
No, anything and everything.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult because it's a great thing that the internet exists and everybody, you know, can put themselves out there. I think in terms of how the industry is curated in respect to the mainstream, the way certain genres are like pushed, or, you know, certain things aren't allowed. I don't like that, and I think the way it's curated should be more healthy. For example, genres like drill have been allowed to flourish, which is good in one respect, because, you know, it's our kids and they're getting out there, but also I think being able to assist young people in the curation and creation of their music, and it not being such like a copy and paste situation. If people were allowed to express themselves more creatively and freely, and that was embraced more in the mainstream, I think that would be more healthy. That's what bugs me about the industry.
Yes. Yeah. How has music helped you with depression, anxiety, etc.?
Massively. I think, again, even just listening to other people's music, you know, if you're feeling down and you put a good tune on, or you're not feeling motivated and you got to do the dishes, and you just put some tunes on, and that kind of just diffuses everything.
It does.
And before you know it, you're finished and the house is clean. I know. And you've had a good time.
It's true. It's so true. You're right. A different question. How do you deal with your words? So if you do something, do you do it? Or do you say something and not do it?
Oh.
Yes, because our word is very, very powerful.
It is. It is. You know, I'm learning that more as I'm growing up. I'm becoming a big girl in the world. And I'm understanding how important sticking to your word is. I actually read a book recently called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and that is one of the agreements, is always stick to your word. Because, it's really, really important.
It is very pivotal, very powerful.
Yes.
Janiece Myers, it was a pleasure, like always. Could you please tell us your socials?
Yeah, so you can contact me at Janiece Myers Official on Instagram.
Yes. Centre stage. Thank you, guys. Bye.